do you find that like when people come to you, as opposed to like, I mean, because for me, when I came, I just basically, there was just like nothing more that I could get out of a doctor. It's like I went so many times and they just kept doing the same thing, prescribing me Ativan, basically said, here, take this Ativan and get some exercise. And I'm like, okay,
I got
I
extra
know,
respect.
yeah, I know that I have to exercise, but I was like, I don't think, I was like,
Feel like it.
I was like, there's no way that and that pill are going to fix me. So I was like, I have to try something else. But do you find that when people come in for the first time that they are like skeptical about things? Because it's like, it's kind of a different way than most people know, right? Or most people, have they done a lot of research before they see you for the first time?
I think it's going like to any social networking event. You're going to find people of different creeds and ages and
Yeah.
styles. So, I have the person that comes in that's actually forced in by their partner. That's the worst case scenario, because, you kind of need to do inception on them, because they're going to be putting their walls up from the get-go.
Yeah.
You got the person that comes in and just starts the first 20 minutes off just bashing the medical system and is looking for some sort of connection through that, which they don't find with me, because I actually have a lot of understanding for both sides of that argument. And I have sometimes cancer patients that come up and then they're surprised that I suggest to them that they do this particular type of chemotherapy, and which I think their oncologist really appreciates when it comes from a naturopathic physician. And I take a look at the research, I take a look at the stats, I take a look at the health, the quality of life of the patients, and of course, all the additional tools that we have in place as naturopathic physicians to support someone in that cycle. And yeah, you get some people that come in very skeptical. I'll never forget this. There's some patients you just can't forget. This lady came in and she sat down and she like immediately crossed her arms. She sat across from me. You're going to talk to me about diet and so like healthy thinking and lifestyle, and don't you dare talk about detoxification. Then this meeting's over. I was just like, what? Really? Certainly the word detoxification, one can say that's a fad word that's commonly used, whatnot. But if you defecate, if you urinate, if you sweat, you're detoxing. Like, stuff's getting out of your body, right? Like, there's something to be said for that. So when people are that skeptical, I usually have a very upfront conversation, because in a way I also have the right as a physician to make the choice if I'd like to take this patient on as my patient. Sort of like a friendship in a way that I want to take on, to work together, because my belief is that you've probably waited quite a while for this to finally address this issue. It's going to take a little bit, because chances are there's multiple aspects of your health that haven't been addressed, right? Let alone mental, emotional. I'm talking even like just physically, from like certain organs, cell function, etc. And so like, there's nothing more fulfilling for me than to look in my schedule and see a list of people that I love seeing. It's like, you're awesome, you're awesome, you're awesome, you're okay, and you're awesome, you're awesome. and that's a very fulfilling practice for me. And so it's more to me about certainly what condition people come in, because I have my strengths and I have my weaknesses, but also like, what kind of person am I working with, and are they willing to be on board? I mean, like, you wouldn't want to go on a road trip with someone that's kicking and screaming for the entire way. No. That's not enjoyable at all. And I think there's a lot to be said about when you mention, they've seen their physician and they were prescribed something, or they kept being prescribed the same thing in a different form over and over again, and they felt like they weren't being heard. It's sometimes maybe that particular doctor. There's a lot to be said about a second opinion on things. And so I usually recommend, this is something I ask patients in the get-go, is like, how's your relationship with your GP? And some people say, oh, it's amazing. I'm like, great. Some people say, I hate this person. And I'm like, well, why would you work together? And that's where of course the fallacy is, where that there's only so many physicians and there's this many people, and if you can you consider yourself actually really lucky when you have a physician that you found, right? That's someone that'll take you on. And but you know, it becomes this you know, double-edged sword in a way, where it's like, which way do you grip it? Like you're happy to have this person, but you're also not resonating and working together, and maybe at times both parties feel like their time's being wasted. So
Yeah.
but I think that's where walk-in clinics, I mean, to be honest here, I had a physician, and you know, like, she wasn't bad, she just wasn't the right fit for me. She was actually a fairly good physician. She just, you know, we just didn't kind of click on the same terms or listening. I didn't feel like I was being really heard. So for like the last, prior to that, I mean, no, around that time, I think 10 years worth of that time that passed, I was seeing walk-in doctors. And I did that until I found one that I was like, oh, you know, we're really connecting. And I just asked what days that doctor was in. And
Yeah.
those days I came in, and certainly I didn't get in all the time, but I mean, I wasn't the case that needed to. So I usually recommend that for patients, and honestly, go on the College of Physicians and Surgeons website, and you can always find, not always, but you can look up doctors in your area and see who's currently accepting new patients. You kind of have to jump on it, and yes, most people are usually grandfathered in through a connection or their family member or whatnot.